Boxee is the original XBMC, or Xbox Media Center project.
Oh, we talked about that a number of months ago.
Yeah, so about 1 million people around the world put mod chips in their Xbox. And I ripped out my 8 gig hard drive and I put in a 100 gig hard drive. This is in 2003. And I put all this media on it. And it was a great all format media player. So the guys did an amazing job with a new slick UI for all encompassing media. But that was in 2003, right? No high def then, 480p if you were lucky on a glass set. And now we've got these great flat panel screens, and we've got devices like the Mac Mini and Apple TV trying to get in the living room.
Right.
But there wasn't a good operating system. So we took what was XBMC, the core of this great media player, and we turned it into Boxee. And this is the homepage of Boxee. Check this out.
So when you load up the software?
You load up the software and you log on. Everybody
Okay.
has a login. So you, your girlfriend, whoever lives in your house can have a login. And the reason why you need a login is because it's all about social recommendations. So Avnir, Boxee's CEO, recommend that I watch Wall Strip. So I'm like, all right, that's interesting. So I can either play it, or if I want to find out more about this, I can read the metadata around it. So if I jump back to the main page, I can see Andrew, a friend of mine's, recommending artist. And since I don't have Bon Iver in my library, I can go to Last.fm, which is kind of what we talked about with streaming on the last segment here.
Okay.
And then I can get more information on it. Look at all this information. So the whole idea is social, rich metadata around both the media that you consume and you have in your network and media over the internet. So this Tropic Thunder, we were talking about this. This seems like such a funny movie.
I saw the unrated trailer and I liked it.
So in this instance, I can hit play and it'll go out to the net and play the trailer. Or if I want to find out more about the cast, actually this is a new movie, so there's not a lot of metadata there. But because I would know you would like this, I can jump into the recommend and I can go in here and I can see all my friends that are using Boxee, and just in a couple hits, I can send a recommendation out. And I can do this all with the remote. So whether it's a keyboard, or I took the Xbox Media Center remote, which just is so ugly, it has so many buttons on it. But I took an old piece of hardware that I had lying around. I had this shuttle. It was an AMD 3000 box. I built it in like 2002, 2003. It had an okay video card on it. It's got this NVIDIA 5200 video card here. Pretty small. I liked it because it was fanless. And I put Ubuntu on this. Instead of running Windows, it was getting a little long in the tooth. The processor and the memory, a gig of RAM, really wasn't working so well. And just to give homage to the old guys at XBMC, I took the 8 gig hard drive that used to be on my Xbox, and that's what I'm running inside of here. So the 8 gig drive loads Ubuntu, and then I load Boxee. I've got a DVI connection to my HD TV, and this video card will do 720p. I could put a more stout video card in it to do 1080p. But now for just a couple $100, hardware that I was going to sell on eBay, I've got a great living room PC with this user interface from Boxee that is my ultimate media player.
Really, this is older hardware that pretty much, there's probably somebody has that kind of hardware just lying around the house somewhere that maybe it's collecting dust, and it's a way to repurpose it.
That's right. Like I said, I was literally going to sell this thing, and it wasn't worth $200 on eBay. So I said, let's see what we could do with it. And I did buy a better AGP video card. I bought a $100 card, does GL 2.0, and it does 1080p. And I'm so jealous of this screen you have behind you here, because man, this thing was really cooking with HD content. But the whole idea with Boxee is a visual interface for your media. So I can see Last.fm, I can see lyrics.
Okay, but say the storage of that media then, does it have to be internal to the computer?
It could, if you have a large hard drive. Like I could put a terabyte drive in this if I wanted to.
But I also have like NAS devices and external hard drives as well.
That's right.
Will it all work?
So Boxee automatically finds the content that's in your local PC where Boxee runs. But if you have a NAS, and I use free NAS, I use a gigahertz machine with 4 250 gig drives all mashed together as a terabyte server. And that's why it didn't matter that I just put an old Xbox drive in this. 8 gig is just enough for the OS and the Boxee app. And I have some local media. Like if you have high definition media, you'd want to put it locally because you don't want that streaming across your network, especially if you're doing only 100 megabit at home. Are you at gigabit at home yet?
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh, I take that back, actually. My systems are all gigabit, but my router is the oldest thing on the planet. But it is 100 megabit.
100 megabit, right? So I have this FreeNAS, another repurposed box. You know,
I was going to say, sounds like what Starvin Marvin and Doc Charlie were doing
Yeah,
with their
exactly.
that old Dell Optiplex box they were doing. It could probably run that software.
Yeah, and this is what I love about all this open source movement, and Ubuntu is a great platform, and FreeNAS is built upon FreeBSD. So I'm taking all these boxes that used to be in closets because they wouldn't run Windows very well, and I'm just repurposing them as appliances for my media. So it's a great way to take a clunker that you might have under your desk that hasn't been turned on in a while and get some use out of it. Now, you might need to upgrade the video card because you really need, in order to do a sophisticated interface like this, we need OpenGL 1.4 or OpenGL 2.0 is even better. But,
however, the hardware you're running currently isn't state-of-the-art by any means. It's a couple years old.
This is a Core Solo AMD 3000.
But the graphics hardware even is a few generations old.
Oh, correct, absolutely. Yeah, this is an NVIDIA 5200. The other card that I bought that does 1080p is a 7600. And I'm buying these fanless cards because in the living room, you don't want a lot of noise. Right, so I'm finding these cards that have just huge heat sinks on them, and then the shuttle fan just sucks all that hotness out of there.
Nice. So when the recommendations come up, say a friend sends you a recommendation, if you have a file that's identical or similar already on your system, will it only grab that for you?
This is what's cool. So Boxee builds a database of all your media. So let me jump into the videos here. I'm going to go My Videos. So because I've got a local hard drive here, I only have a few media files on it here. But my content's all locally here. And if I jump on to Nacho Libre, I can either view the more metadata around it here, or I can jump in and play it. So if you sent me a recommendation to play this movie, Boxee would automatically know that it was within my library and give me the play button. If it wasn't within my library, Boxee tries to make legitimate connections to the internet to find it. And it might be a movie trailer, it might be a stream through an online property, and there's tons of video that's available for free on the internet legally.
And it's even pulling the artwork down from the internet as well.
Oh, absolutely. So artwork, reviews, etc. So I'm going to go into internet videos here with Boxee, and now you can see Blip TV, movie trailers, video channels. So, and it's all RSS feeds. We're pulling in the metadata. So if I jump into culture and art, there's tons of these lifestyle shows, and once again, all live, real time, cool hunting, very cool stuff. The TED conferences. I don't know if you watch the TED stuff.
Amazing.
It's all available through Boxee for free. All you need is a broadband connection. And if you have a remote control for Media Center and you have some old hardware lying around, just build a little Ubuntu box and have access to all this stuff.
Now here are the great hardware-related questions, but what operating systems will be supported for Boxee?
So right now we're just launching with OS X and with Ubuntu.
Okay.
Windows has so many differences with video cards, and then you've got that whole instance of how do you make sure Windows is not hogging too many system resources, right? So we love Linux at Boxee. Okay. And you know what? It's about time that the Linux guys got some software first, right? Normally OS X and Ubuntu is a stepchild. So we wanted to go with, we all use Macs at Boxee. Half the team on their Macs even dual boots into Ubuntu. So we wanted to do things a little bit differently and give you guys a first crack at some really cool software. A first ever socialized media player built upon a really strong foundation, which is XBMC.
Very, very cool.
So Windows will be out in the fall.
Okay. It's a nice interface, and it's the low resource requirements for hardware and an interface like that. I think is what appeals to me, being able to reuse my old hardware.
And the music stuff, I do a lot of this. I'll listen to Last.fm on my internet music channels, and you see NPR, Shoutcast. So I'll jump into Last.fm, and then I'll back up with the mouse, or I'm sorry, with the keyboard. We don't use the mouse. The mouse is like the wrong interface for this. It's mostly keyboard or remote. But I'll jump into Pictures and go to Internet Pictures, and instead of listening to satellite radio at home, I'll have Last.fm going, and then I'll jump into my contacts for Flickr and have my flat panel at home as a beautiful slideshow. So very cool use scenario, all free. I don't have to buy any of this content or whatever. So
very nice.
Cool.
Now, does this integrate RSS into itself, or would that be, say I already have an RSS setup that's pulling down my favorite content into a storage system? So could I go either way?
So let me tell you the dream of Boxee, right?
Okay.
Right now with TiVo, you have a season pass.
Right.
And that sits on the island of your TiVo. And then when you get a new TiVo, you got to go through and you have to set up the season pass again. You have to go through all this. It's a big pain. What we want to do with Boxee is allow the alpha creators to build RSS feeds and share them with their friends. So just as I could share a direct link to a TED or a Last.fm stream to you, I could build the Dave Matthews Video Geek Extraordinaire channel. Or, I mean, this is probably better for you. You're the video guy, right? You could build a channel of all your favorite sources and then share that with your friends. So they click on one link and basically their inbox for the content that they know and trust you will provide for them. And it could be your own content, third-party content, whatever. It's a subscription service sharing via RSS.
Cool. Codec support.
Oh, great question.
I mean, because look, I deal with a dozen codecs per se. I mean, audio and video side of things.
Yep.
And that is one of the biggest roadblocks I run into when handing a file to a friend sometimes.
That's right. Yeah,
they're like, what is this? What do I play it with? There's
nothing worse than going to watch a show on your computer and having you need a DivX or XVid or Matroska or whatever.
Exactly.
Right? Now, introduce that to the living room, and no way. If you have to tell your girlfriend that sorry, I've got to download a codec, she's going to leave the room. So Boxee has support for 30 different codecs all built in. Now, we can't do the DRM stuff, right? So if you buy stuff from the Apple Store or sites that wrap the DRM around it, we can't play that. But we're going to add as much DRM supported content as we can in the future, like Windows Plays for sure, which stuff like the streaming sites are starting to use in some instances. But Flash video, high definition video, it's all able to be played. So 30 codecs to support in this thing.
And if the file that you've recommended isn't on your buddy's computer already, though, what it looks for online are actually legitimate sources, like you mentioned as well. It's not trolling, say, the Pirate Bay to find, let's pull down the best content of it.
Right. There's a torrent client, FTP, and web-based download client built into Boxee, and there's a pretty cool download manager, so I can jump in the download manager and see what's going on with my downloads here. But like you said, it's all legitimate sources for the content. So even if I download and watch a torrent of, say, Lost, which I would never download a torrent, if you see that I'm watching Lost, or I recommend you watch Lost, Boxee is going to automatically have the connectors to send you to the legitimized site. And my dream is to have plugins with all of the top streaming sites, all the top networks, and even plugins to Amazon Video Store, plugins to Netflix. So if you plug in your credentials, even if it's on YouTube, if we find I'm listening to a song, I recommend that song to you, and that song's not in your library, we'll send you the YouTube video link. That's how sophisticated Boxee can be, because we act like a traffic cop for legitimizing media.
Sweet.
And it's all open source, right? You can hack this, you can remix this, we want you to.
And cost?
Absolutely free, right? It's Web 2.0, everything should be free. Now, the reason why we're making it free is we really want people to develop on this platform. The living room has needed a software upgrade for a long time. Think about it. TiVo came out in 1999. All these clone boxes, DVRs came out, and those clones, they're too slow, they've got bad user experiences, they show ads, all this nonsense. Apple TV's been a cool, but it's very novel front end. There really hasn't been a beautiful, immersive experience for your media and open streaming media, and we're excited about Boxee. For me, it's just the solid codec support. That's probably the thing that gets me most excited about it, because I deal with open source formats like say Ogg Vorbis and FLAC for my audio, and it's nice to just have playback for that, in addition to all the video formats, and there are probably dozens of them out there. So anyway, thank you. That was just terrific.